Well, obviously, the artwork was inspired by the title itself, and talking about the title and the concept of the album, it's mainly a question to Tatiana, but I can. So what I'm trying to say is that my answer may not be completely full and thorough, because I obviously cannot know everything which stood behind the Tatiana's choice and Tatiana's thinking about the concept of the album. But generally, the concept is like constant. Tatiana wanted to speak about the constant conflict inside the people's nature on different levels, not only on the level of like it's not only about conflicts between people, but it's also about conflicts inside our inner self, and the conflict with your inner self. This is what not probably, but this is definitely what she wanted to say through the lyrics on this album, is that it's like a part of our nature. In my opinion, there is actually way more of an accent on clean vocals by her. But generally, yes, the album, especially from the first perspective, may sound like a heavier album compared to everything we did before. And I would say that in some way it is I actually did it before. I said about this. I mentioned my own feelings, how I perceive the album. It's in some way this album is a step back to our earlier works, like Cloud Factory, let's say, and King of Everything. We managed to bring some elements out of those albums and implement them in the new works, in the new songs. And like always, nothing happens intentionally in this band. It wasn't like we met and agreed on let's make a heavy album. It just happened like this naturally. Everything came organically, and as always, I think it's just the music which represents how the band and individual musicians felt during the time when we were writing, when we were making the album. We felt like this, it happened like this, let's say, in short. We live now in different parts of the world, so we cannot write music the way we used to write music. And there are definitely changes, but only positive changes, if you ask me. Actually, now, being a band with a history, being a well-established band, worldwide known, we can actually devote much more time to writing, to production. There is less rush, and there is less haste, let's say. We are not running for anything in short period. We can really have longer time making new records. And this is what happened with this record. Actually, this album took the longest to make, and I think first demos were ready back in 2022, so it's like almost 3 years in the production. Oh. And for the first time, we actually had the full pre-production range, including vocals. We never had demos with vocals before. On all the previous records, what Tatiana recorded was almost like improvisation made in the studio. Now it was totally different because we had all the songs with vocals pre-recorded. We had an opportunity to listen to them, change something. Yeah, and most importantly, Tatiana had an opportunity to learn her vocal lines and implement them and sing them way better during the final recording. So generally, the approach was different in many ways, not only because of the vocals. We completely upgraded our gears. Guitars, amps, new sound for every instrument. Like not only, let's say, guitar, also bass, and even the drums sound different. And I would say on the next level. And just songwriting wise, uh, for example, me myself, I've never worked that hard on bass lines. There are some demos. There were some demos which I re-recorded like 5 times. So there were 5 different versions of bass guitar for only one song, let's say. So when you have time, when you have resources, you can really step up to the next level of production. And this is what I think. This is what we did on Duel. I just don't understand how it could be the other way. What's the purpose of releasing new music if you haven't done your homework, if you haven't prepared well, if you haven't improved? It just doesn't make sense to write anything new. The approach we have is a new record must be a new record, like really new, not just rearrange the old one. And if you ask me personally, I just don't see any sense in releasing something which is not better than your previous works.
What makes Max Morton the perfect guy to work with Ginger?
We perfectly understand each other. This is what I think makes him special. On the communication level, well, first of all, we speak the same language. And secondly, we've been working with the dude for, if I'm not mistaken, 11 years now. The very first mix he did for us was 2014 or even 13. So it's like 12 years. And over the years, we developed good friendship, good relationship. Max is not just a sound engineer we work with. Max is a good friend. We keep in touch just, on the routine level. I may text him and ask him how things are. He may text me and ask me how I feel. So we may talk about this and that, some news. And it's not that we just, contact each other when it's time to make new mix for the album. No. And it helps a lot because you build over the years, you build some sort of a chemistry in your relationship with people. And we are now at the point when we don't need to explain certain things. It simplifies everything. So when you know a person and you've been working with a person for 12 years, you don't need to explain some tiny little details. And it definitely speeds up the process. It makes the process way easier. And Max is one of those people who actually he doesn't stand at one place like we do. He has been learning and becoming better and better as a sound engineer over all these years, and he has been moving with the band and him independently only forward and forward. That's why after 5 releases done with him, made with him, we don't feel like he's like pulling us back or we overgrew him. No, we have been growing together and we are still, him and us, we can still impress each other in our own way and surprise each other in our own way. And that's why our cooperation is still so fruitful. To say I'm happy about how bass sounds and let's say, to say I'm happy is to say nothing. It's definitely it's a step up. I, in some way, relearned how to play bass for the new record. I wanted to use a lot of slapping on the new record, and I literally started to learn how to play double thumps for this record, and it all worked very well. I'm more than again happy. I'm more than happy about everything I did on bass. And honestly, the main concern I have, just generally talking about Duel, is that it's very hard for me to imagine how I'm gonna overcome me myself, let's say for record number 6 when it's time to do it, because I definitely pushed my own limits with Duel, and I pushed it so wide and so far that maybe I've come to the my natural limits, because everyone's got their natural limits, and I see my natural limits as a musician, and maybe I've come to this point already. So it's as much as I'm happy about Duel, how it sounds, how much I managed to self-express there, how much I managed to progress there as a musician, what new horizons, musical horizons I managed to open on Duel. Same way concerned and worried that I ran out of you know not inspiration, but I ran out of resources to progress even more for next records when it's time to make new records. Now, again, I am happy, more than happy. I really want to play all these songs live. This is what motivates me a lot. This is what moves me forward. It's time to share with the world the new record, the new songs, and I am so excited about going worldwide. And all these plans we have now, touring plans, it motivates me a lot. But at the same time, there is a concern inside of me, deep inside of me, which is growing little by little, that I push the limit so far that it is uh, the limit for me. It is just limit for me, and I won't be able to progress anymore on next records. There is a concern like that. If you push yourself to a certain level for the studio, it means that you are able to play this. And honestly, if you are in a position that you record something and you are not sure if you are able to play this live, it means that you just faked it. Any good musician, any musician who is just a musician, understand this. If you play it, you play it. If you don't play it, you don't play it. And the rule is simple as it is. If I really played, and I really played everything I have on the record, like from A to Z, it wasn't like sampling riffs note by note. No, I really played all those riffs. And I know that I will be able to play them live. Yeah, of course, it requires some rehearsing, and yeah, there is a lot of work actually to practice and rehearse and to be ready to play it live. And there is also always a stress to play something live first. But I'm confident I can do that because I already did this on the record. And if you feel like you are not capable of doing that live, then you haven't recorded this. This is how I see. Definitely, it's Green Serpent, and it's a challenging actually song because of the final bass solo. I actually didn't think about how I'm gonna perform this in a sweaty venue with 1,000 or 2,000 fans in front of me, just heating everything up. And when the sweat is literally in not on you on your guitar, but in the air. So when I was composing and recording this, I didn't think about it, and it's become a bit of a challenge because when you are literally dripping and sweat is everywhere and everything is just wet, soaking wet, playing such a gentle part at the very end of a headbanging song is a challenge. But so far, it's been cool to perform it. Yeah, really, it's a driving force. It's a song which drives. We have it now in the first part of the set, and once I play it, I feel like double motivated to perform the rest of the set. A really cool song. And I'm looking also forward to perform live Tantrum, because this is the craziest bass lines I've ever recorded and I've ever composed, just generally.
You know,
Tantrum is the
outside of the
most
singles,
insane.
Tantrum is one of my favorite songs. And it's in my top 3 favorite songs
Thank
of the
you.
album.
Thank you. It's actually one of my favorite songs too. And bass wise, again, it's just one of the craziest stuff I've ever done.